Hey, how's it going, YouTube? It's Ian with Good Form Sports Cards, and in front of you here is the home screen for COMC, acronym for CheckOutMyCards in the hobby. As you may have seen in some of my previous mail day videos, I do a lot of buying and selling on COMC, and I've had some requests to share some of the ways in which I use it. So I thought it would be most effective to do a series of videos where I cover everything that, at least what I'm familiar with on COMC, from beginning to end, with being able to provide adequate details and also not have videos that are going to be 2 hours long, which is probably what it would take to go through everything and show you examples and details and whatnot. So today will just be basically building your store from the ground up. If you went into COMC for the first time, you've never used it, you don't have a login, you don't have any credits, anything like that in your store, we're going to start there. So if you're a more advanced user, this video may not be for you, but I would recommend checking it out. Sometimes you can learn more. The reason I wanted to do this was not only because I've had a few subscribers ask to make videos on this, but there's some good content out there, but you have to dig a little bit. And the content you find that is actually pretty good is starting to get dated. It's almost 3 years old, a lot of it. It was from the boom, and people are showing you how to do flips that you just can't do anymore. And the site has changed quite a bit. You can see in front of me here, you can submit your cards for grading, which you couldn't do in those previous videos, and the site has just progressed quite a bit. Furthermore, I do believe my background might help a little bit. I've worked with financial institutions basically for the last 20 years. I've been a business partner and a small business owner for the last 6 years. So I have a lot of experience in management and teaching and coaching people. So I'm hoping that some of those skills will shine through here, where maybe I'm able to explain things a little differently and anticipate what people's needs will be a little differently than some of the other content that's out there. So hopefully I'm able to achieve that. So that's a brief explanation on what I will be covering in this series of videos. But the what is the easiest part to cover. Next will be the more in-depth part of showing you how I do what I do and try to explain why I do what I do. So with that out of the way, let's go do some heavy lifting. All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm happy to have you here on the first video in the COMC tutorials that I'll be doing. Here we're starting on the first screen, and we're just going to get right into it. We're going to close this window out. So right here on their home screen, why should you use COMC? Well, there's some absolutely good points here right away. There's flat rate shipping, which is great. This is basically you would acquire cards, and there's a flat rate assessed to each one. So when you pay it can be adjusted based on how you use the platform. So we'll get into that later on. Either way, however you decide to buy cards and when you send them home, there's really no shock, so to speak, sticker shock. As long as you know what you're doing and what your intent is for each card as you acquire it, you can really manage that pretty well and keep your costs under control. Right here, ideal for set builders and player collectors. That is absolutely correct. You will notice that unlike eBay, the cards here on COMC are cataloged much better. Since the COMC staff ingests all the cards into the platform, they're coded very well. So if you're looking for an example I will use later is a 1992 top Shaquille O'Neal. If you're looking for that card on eBay, you type that in, you're going to get all sorts of results, and they're spread out, and you're going to get the golds, and you're going to get people that use wrong keywords. You're going to be trying to narrow down your search, and then you really just can't see everything laid out in front of you, whereas in COMC you can see exactly how many 1992 tops base Shaquille O'Neal rookies there are, how many are in near mint, how many are excellent mint, so on and so forth. And then you just open up that queue of each card that you may have interest in, and you go through them and you look at like what's centered, what looks to be in the best condition for what you're trying to do, or maybe you just want the cheapest copy. It does lay them out in that way, and you can make offers. The way that it's laid out and finding cards is much easier. Also makes it more competitive. So since you can see every card stacking up against each peer, there's no algorithm like eBay. It's pretty much like what you see is what you get, and whoever puts the best card for the best price out there is typically going to move their inventory. So you have a lot of eyes on the platform, and you have a lot of people competing against each other using kind of what I call like the drip method. So if somebody lists a card for $1, the next person that uploads it or had a card in inventory may adjust their price to 99 cents to now become the lowest. And you will see people do the penny drip all the time, but it's to your benefit unless you're selling cards. So it is ideal for set builders and player collectors because you can just accumulate cards over time at a good price, stage them in your vault or your store, And then when you're ready to have a shipment home, you bulk ship them home for a flat rate. And in my mind, there's no cheaper way to do it, especially remotely. You might be able to go to a big card store and go through some commons and stuff if you're looking to fill a set and whatnot. But if you really want to be able to do this remotely and accumulate really anything that you're looking for, this is probably the best way to do it. And another thing I'll add to that is because it's remote, I've found on COMC that my international players typically sell better. So if you've got maybe a Yao Ming card that just will not sell, I will a lot of times send those in to COMC, and there's a lot of international buyers that will, because it's so expensive to buy from the US, they will buy those cards in the vault, store them up, and do one shipment home as well. So try to think about what your customer base is on there. It is definitely like, it's not that eBay is not global, but it's a lot tougher to ship international. A lot of people won't even do it. But on here, you don't really have to consider it. You don't have to do any of the shipping. You just put it in the vault and let it transfer around to whoever it transfers to, and then whatever happens after it sells is really no concern to you. You don't hear about it again, which is pretty nice. On with the show here. So they have over 42 million cards under one roof. High resolution scans on the front back of every card. That's mostly true. You do get a scan of the front back of every card, but the 50-cent bulk ingestion scans are a little more low res, and they're typically the cards are still in the penny sleeve, so you don't get like a real good look at whitening in the corners or chipping. You can get pretty close. I mean, I get a lot of gems anyways. It's just the elite scans that people pay for the higher end cards, or sometimes they just pay it because they want to rush, which we'll get into the fees later. The elite scans are definitely higher quality, and they'll use like a black background so the cards pop a little bit better. And easy and fun sports card flipping, this is true. They have all kinds of filters, all kinds of reporting. You could pretty much do whatever you want once you learn how to navigate the site. And you could just sit there and flip cards and you don't ever have to touch them. You just build up a bankroll in here. And then you could withdraw the credits. We'll get into how that works as well. There are, of course, fees in there. They want to keep their money and cards in the ecosystem. So that's a good reason why you would want to buy cards. So why would you want to sell cards here? Well, there's plenty of reasons why. A basic thing they list here is it's a different way to sell cards. The nice part is that they identify, which to me is the biggest time saver. They will identify like parallels you might not be familiar with. Maybe you're selling a collection and you're just like, I don't know if this is the lava or the orange flash or whatever. You can tell, they'll find that out for you and they'll code it correctly 99% of the time. I've had a request a change 2 times, and I think I've ingested like 3,000 cards. So it's not a common thing that a mistake is made. They have a pretty good staff that really knows their cards. It's also a nice little tip here. If you are listing cards and you don't know what they are, COMC is a nice, almost like encyclopedia or index where you can search a particular card, and if they have that parallel in stock, if somebody's trying to sell it, you can like compare. So sometimes if you're not sure, again, if we use the example of lava, orange, or orange flash, you can look at those cards and see like, okay, is the orange lava serial number to 299? Okay, it is, and so is the card that I have. So it appears that this is the actual parallel, and then that way you can make sure you list it correctly, so on and so forth. So it's been really, really handy for me, just almost like an index. It's a nice tool to have that's absolutely free with just signing on to a store. So basically you just send them your cards and they will ingest them for a fee. Now we'll get over how to submit cards and what the fees are and how you would choose and what's potentially the types of cards you would want to send to COMC and which ones you probably don't. I'll cover all those on a future video that's much more detailed in regards to buying and selling. Here we're just going to get started. So what they do with your cards. So they research and identify, which we went over. They'll evaluate the condition lightly. So I've bought cards that were listed near mint to mint with like big impressions on the back. Would it really grade a near mint 7? Honestly, probably not. I've seen some that have pretty big impressions and they just miss stuff, and it is what it is. They're not perfect, but they're pretty good. They do catch it, and a lot of times when I'm going through some of the auctions, I'll show you how to catch where they'll notate condition, because sometimes it's kind of hidden on the auctions. It's not easy to see, so you do have to pay attention. They do advertise to find buyers. We saw that on the home screen. They're trying to bring in people to buy cards and grade them with them, and they also have good cross integration and capital infused by eBay. So eBay is a good partner to them and has actually put cash into helping them build out some of their infrastructure and website altogether, and just some of the integrations that they have. So they store and insure consigned collectibles, pretty straightforward. They got a big vault, it's insured. Breakdown of the fees of what it costs to store a card of low and high value will come on a later video. Resolve customer service needs, I imagine they do. I've never actually had to use them. The site is kind of set up to just manage itself. You really don't encounter any users. Nobody's really messaging you. Nobody's really playing games. It's either you accept someone's offer or you don't. Nobody's like sending you screenshots of comps or anything like that. It's perfect for the introvert, to be honest with you. If you just don't want to deal with people and you just love buying and selling cards and you just want to do your thing, this is the way to do it. You'd love it. Securely package and ship to buyers. I absolutely will vouch for this. I love how they ship. They have everything in penny sleeves, top loaders if you want it, then team bags. And if you saw on a previous mail day, I had one where the post office, I don't know if they just submerged my box entirely. The thing was soaked all the way through, but the cards were totally protected. They weren't even wet at all. All the team bags and stuff kept everything out. So they do a good job of packaging for sure. But you can see here they have some other services that they push, mailbox services. I don't use that. I imagine that's probably for people maybe in rural areas or international, or perhaps people that go abroad or leave the country for periods of time. Perhaps maybe military people on duty. To be honest with you, not real seasoned. It's not really a service I need, but it sounds like it's something that they provide when the situation calls for it. eBay integration, this is huge. Every card that you list for sale in the vault cross integrates to eBay. How it works is, if we'll just continue to use the same example, if it's the 92 Topps Shaquille O'Neal, that would show up on eBay, and it would be like the multi-card listings where there's a drop down and you can pick between which item you want and pay which fee you want. It's just basically add to cart, buy it now. And it works. Their bulk shipping works too. So if you just want to peruse through COMC's eBay store, you can add everything to your cart. The combined shipping discount takes care of itself, and then you just slap the buy it now and you're done. The difference in doing that is, in buying in COMC, the cards are typically lower priced, which I'll show you when we do the buying video. eBay has a natural markup to cover for their fees. They must have a fee agreement of some kind worked out. In fact, I'm certain of it. I just don't know the exact details. That's between them. But how it works is COMC's sale fee is less than eBay's sale fee. So in order for that to work, the difference is pushed on to the buyer. Okay. So if you buy a COMC card through eBay, somehow through that integration, that price difference is added. And I'll show you some examples when we do the buying. But an example would be, if the card is 99 cents on COMC, it might be like $1.12 on eBay or something like that, okay? So something to keep in mind. But sometimes it also works to buy those sorts of deals in bulk, because the combined shipping actually works out in your favor better than buying and paying the internal shipping home if they're like elite level cards and stuff like that. So we'll go through the scenarios, what to look for, and how to make sure that you are saving yourself as much as possible, and understanding like where you can cut costs and what little hacks there are and stuff like that. I'll make sure to teach all of that to you as we go. And the last part here, the grading services, I've never tried that. I understand it works pretty good. I've seen videos on people that use it. I don't have anything negative to say about it because I haven't tried it. Just me personally, my opinion, I like to hold the card. I like to inspect the card myself, especially if I'm going to pay $20 and wait and have my money tied up. And the last thing I want is to send a card off, have it come back, and then it's like an 8, and I find out, well, it's just because it had a thumbprint on it, or there was a impression on the back that wasn't listed. Perhaps like that card I used an example of that had a big impression on the back. It was a near mint. To be transparent, it was a Skybox Kobe Bryant rookie. And I bought it, thought my intent was to get like an 8 and break even with it at the price I bought it for, or potentially grade up and make a little money. I got it and was like, I can't do anything with this. I can basically just sell it and try to recover a chunk of the money, but there's no way it would ever get an 8. So if I had sent that card through the grading service, I would have got absolutely slaughtered. I'm already going to lose money on the raw card, but then putting a grading fee into it and losing even more. That's where I just personally like to do it myself. But there definitely is a market, especially for people that are just buying and selling and looking to turn and burn. that's perfect for them because they don't have to touch anything. They just buy a card, all of a sudden it comes back, it's in their vault, they can list it. They never had to do anything with it. It is a nice service for sure. And then historical sales data, you can call that what you will. I don't rely on it too much. It is available. It does show you the data of cards that have sold on the site, and it goes back quite a ways. It'll show you how many, what the peak sale was, all that good stuff. It's nice, but just not something I use. I would rather just use like 130 point or Card Ladder or something like that. So with that out of the way, we've gone why we would buy and why we would sell here. And we're interested. We want to do this, right? So we're going to go and sign up as a new user. Okay, so we're going to start this from the very beginning as if you were a brand new user without a COMC account. I'm going to show you how to register for the site, and we're going to walk through the basic options, starting with setting up how you're going to add money. This is a very, very just super beginner course for those of you that may not know what COMC is. And there's some users that have viewed videos asking questions about COMC and how I use it, and maybe just aren't familiar with it or thinking of giving it a try. Maybe don't know how, or maybe it seems overwhelming, or just want to see it in action before they make a decision. So that's what this video is for here. So right up in front of us here, you're just going to want to put in COMC.com. I'm just putting into the Google search to speed things up, but you can put it into your address bar, wherever you want to put it. We're just going to go right here to COMC.com. It's going to bring us to the home page. And we got a nice little pop-up here. Looks like they're doing a promotion. Up here in the top right, we are going to click sign up. So we are going to sign up with our Good Form Sports Cards email. And we are going to do that. And right here in the Good Form Sports Cards email, we've got the code for 65790. We're going to grab that. Go back to COMC. Throw that in here. They emailed email has been verified, as we can see here, so we're going to continue through that. We're going to choose our username, and now I will choose my username. And you may be wondering why I would be putting this in here now if I already have a profile. That is because I use Good Form SC at the time. So this will be a profile I'm making for this video. Perhaps I'll use it at a later date with the channel here. Maybe I'll do a COMC challenge or something like that, but right now we're just going to create a password and get through this. And let's get in here. I know we're just going to skip that for now. So when you're in COMC, you can see up here is when you first log in, you're going to, and I'll back out so it's not so zoomed in, but right up here, you're going to have your drop down. And this is going to be pretty handy for you no matter what screen you're on in COMC. This was always up here. So no matter if you're looking at cards or you're at auctions, wherever you navigate to on the site, this is always here as like a quick menu to get you back to where you want to go. So if you want to get back to your dashboard, if you want to get back to your inventory, watch list, all this stuff, you can see it, of course, sign out. So we're going to look at the dashboard. That's where we're going to start out. And we're going to back out. It looks like it's giving us the COMC user agreement. And it's pretty straightforward. Just like any other user agreement, it's going to tell you what is acceptable and not acceptable on the site. There is some stuff in regards to store credit in here, as you can see. So it's not necessarily currency. They call it credit, which is linear to the dollar. So if you put 100 credits in there, you have $1, so to speak. That being said, there are some stuff in here that you may want to read through, but it's nothing that's crazy. It's basically just don't do anything fraudulent. Don't send in any sketchy cards. There is something in here where we talk about the stolen and fraudulent cards. This can bite you if you're involved in that kind of stuff. I would hope people doing that are not not big fans of me, because I'm not big fans of those people. But if you are trying to do something sketchy, like maybe you made a counterfeit card and you couldn't pass it through PSA, so you're going to throw it on here and try to sell it raw, and then that person who bought it tries to send it to PSA, it comes back as fake, they can actually return it to COMC, and then you will actually be later deducted, believe it or not. So be mindful of those sort of things. It can be like, maybe if you're doing dishonest things, you might think a sale went through, some altered card or counterfeit card or something sketchy. made its way through and you haven't heard anything in a week or 2 weeks or 3 months or whatever. I mean, it could be 6 months and it comes back and bites you. So I'm not really sure what the limitation is on that, but as always, I would advise not to do anything dishonest. That's really the main thing in here. Otherwise, the rest of it's pretty straightforward. Just don't be a clown. Don't do stupid stuff. You know, it's talking about the site itself and the processes and how what they're liable to and what your expectations are. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to waste a lot more time on this. So we're going to indicate here that we read it. Yep, we did all that. We're going to activate the account. And we should go to our dashboard right here. So Good Form Sports Cards is in here. And when you start out, this is what your dashboard will look like. Okay, so regardless of what you're going to use the site for, whether it's buying or selling or both, you're going to need some credits to start out with. You can't start with 0. There's not any way, to my knowledge, in which you can do it. There's a couple of quick ways you can get to it. Right here is the purchase store credit. There is also down here in the menu purchase store credit. So either way, we're going to go in here and it gives you the options. How much would you like to add? You can pick a custom amount if you want something specific. And there's a couple ways you can do it. Here it's going to do, basically you're going to proceed to checkout and it's going to have you do it with card or maybe PayPal, I believe. And then here you can actually do it by mail. I think you can send in a check. Yeah, so you can send in a check to COMC. Tells you how to do it here. And looks like there's going to be some sales tax. If I want to buy $100 of store credit, I need to send in a check for that amount. And then once the check arrives and clears, the funds will be posted to my account, would be my assumption. I don't know who's using that feature, but we are going to have instant store credit. And what I'm going to do is put in $100 here and then save that for future videos for buying and selling, okay? Okay, so the payment has been made. We can see that the $100 is pending PayPal notification. I'm going to refresh a time or two here and see how long it takes. There we go. So we have $100 in the account. That's as simple as adding it there. And once you have that there, you can get to work. You could submit your cards into them, and then the ingestion fees will be deducted from here. We can get started on the buying and selling and flipping and all that good stuff and taking advantage of everything COMC has to offer. And we're going to start doing that piece by piece on some future videos. Content to come soon regarding buying on the platform, selling on the platform, what types of cards you'd want to send there versus just selling on your own, how much it costs you to do everything, and just some general hacks and things that I've learned along the way to hopefully save you some time and money and maximize your sales and your exposure. So hopefully you enjoyed the introductory video here. It is kind of boring, and a lot of people, anybody that's set up an account in their life probably knows how to log in here. But I wanted to show you just how to get in and get started and get your feet wet and just kind of learn what the site looks like and get started navigating it. So hopefully this gets you started and you can start perusing the site. I would advise for you to play around with the site a little bit if you are going to kind of follow along with me through the series here, and just start doing some searches, learn how to navigate the site, maybe throw some cards in your watch list or your cart, things like that, and just learn how to find what you're looking for, how to view particular cards. Maybe you'll find some areas of opportunity that you may want to flip or something like that. Again, we'll get into everything in some later videos, and I think you're really going to like it. So hope you enjoyed this, and that's all we've got for today. So until next time, we'll see you.